You know, growing up, a lot of kids have a lot of memories going to Disneyland. And for us, the big thing that we always looked forward to is going to the circus. And my grandpa, we called him Grandpa Willie, but his name was Willis C. Pulver. And he worked on the city council, and he was on the city board, and he was in charge of bringing the circus into town every year. And this was back during the time when the circus would travel and set up a tent, and they would literally set up this city without a zip code. And it was a moment. It was a moment as a child that I just treasure, and I'll never forget. It is literally my earliest childhood memory, going under the big top and seeing things that I had never seen. This is before the days of cell phones. There was no Google, there was no YouTube, and so the opportunity to see an elephant up close, and I watched as this man in a cage surrounded by tigers and lions and trapeze artists that were literally putting their life on the line every night, and the smell of popcorn and the music, and it just represented something that I had never experienced before. And it was one of those moments. And my grandpa, because he was on the city council and helped so much to bring the circus into town, every year for the grand parade, they would put my grandpa on top of an elephant. My grandpa was one of the most influential people in my life. He was just about creating a moment. He was about creating an experience. He was about creating magic. And the circus was always a part of that, because it represented the possibility of what could be. It represented what you could become. It showed you things that you had never seen before, and it created a moment. It created an experience that people loved who they were when they were at the circus. And that's what I wanted to capture in this, is to create that moment, that wonder of what circus did for me. And I called it the Willie Clinton Circus because my grandpa, Grandpa Willie, and his middle initial is C, which stands for Clinton, which is what I'm named after. And so I thought it was fitting to call it the Willie Clinton Circus. When I was a little kid, there was a little circus Playmobil set that was in a store, and I wanted it so bad. I just wasn't able to get it. And so now as an adult, and my wife and I, we were talking about our own family and having children. And so I looked it up on eBay, and I bought it, and I bought it for our kids. And when it arrived, I remember I took it out, and I was like, well, they need little chairs, and the cage isn't the right size. So I started building a circus. And that's how this all came to be. Every night, little by little, I would just create. And really what I was doing was just recreating the moment from my childhood of a memory that has shaped a lot of my life. And that's how the Willie Clinton Circus came to be. The building process took over a year to do. And sometimes I would come in and I could only work on it for 30 or 40 minutes. And then there were times where I would pull all-nighters. My wife would come in at 7 o'clock at night, and then she would go to bed, and then she would wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was in here with a magnifying glass bejeweling an elephant headdress or a horse harness. So it took a long time, but it was so fun to play, to come in and to be a kid again. And I think that sometimes we lose that childhood wonder of what it was like to use your imagination, what it was like to really dream, what it was like to really play, to create, to build things. And so that was what was so exciting, is every night to come in and just dream a little bit more while I was awake. And so I wanted to create a piece that was as real and as historically accurate to the best of my abilities. Because I wanted to capture the magic, but I also wanted people to really experience what a circus looked like, how it was set up, that was really true to size, true to history. One of the fun parts about all of this was every time a family came over and to see the magic in the children come to life. My favorite piece by far would have to be the Willie Clinton circus wagon, which is actually a giraffe hauler. They would use these wagons to march through the towns and to kind of do the circus parade that would publicize for the shows that were going on later that day or the following day. Like, looking at this whole process, it's amazing what happens if you put down your phone and you get off of Netflix and you just create. And that's what this gave me the opportunity to do, to come in and play. If my grandpa were to actually see this, I know he'd be proud, but I know it would do the same thing that he did for us as kids. It would create that moment all over again. It would create the magic. It would create the possibilities. You know, my goal, my whole hope in building this model and through the process of it all was the hope that when people see this, they remember the magic. They remember the magic of what circus used to be, or that it sparks the possibility of what could be, or it does exactly what a circus really did for people. And it gives them the chance that when they're here, when they're a part of it, they forget about the chaos, they forget about the stress, they forget about all the things that are going on, and you're just present in a moment that really truly is magic. And that's what circus is for me.